everyone. Welcome to Monday's edition of FreightWaves Now. I'm Zach Strickland.
And I'm Emily Szink. Let's get started with our carrier update.
Kyle Cunningham back again with another carrier update for you. Let's go ahead and go down to the southwest. Let's look at Albuquerque, New Mexico. What we're looking at in Albuquerque is a jump of about 5.43% of our outbound volume. Now that's important because we can see down here this yellow line, this orange line. These are our outbound and inbound tender rejections. Outbound rejections out of Albuquerque today around 6%. Inbound at 2.93. That's saying that nobody's arguing about going into Albuquerque, possibly looking at an expansion of available capacity. With an outbound rejection under 10%, brokers are gonna have the advantage today. Now let's go over to Dubuque, Iowa. Now we got a market so flat, if you look out, you could see the back of your head. We've got a outbound volume of 18.9%. And then also we've got our outbound rejections and our inbound rejections basically even at about 10%, pretty well balanced. The inbound tender volume into Dubuque currently nearly equal with the outbound tender volume. If you're anywhere in Iowa today, definitely take a look at this market. Now, to close out this segment, let's take a look at our head haul weekly map. We're gonna see where that volume's moving around the country. We can see down here Atlanta coming up a little bright blue, a little bit of outbound volume rolling up. Chattanooga seeing a little bit of a decline. As we come over to the west side of the country, take a look at Seattle this week. Looks like there's gonna be a little bit of spike of inbound volume. As always, stay tuned to FreightWaves Now for your carrier update.
Improve your fleet's efficiency with AT&T Fleet Complete, a 4G solution for tracking vehicles and simplifying ELD compliance. AT&T Fleet Complete, delivering fleet solutions for every business.
Some extremely helpful information for the carriers, but brokers. Now we are talking to you. Zach Strickland joins me now. What are things looking like in the market?
So we saw last week that volumes were really up, but it has not translated into a tightened market. So we've got our outbound tender rejection index pulled up right here, and I've overlaid the reefer outbound tender rejection index for the nation over the national tender rejection index. Reefer tender rejections, as you can see way back here, actually drove a lot of the instability in the market over in June. But that really has settled back down. We're down to about 10.42% on the tender rejections for reefer. And the national index has also settled back down to one of the lowest levels all year long. So capacity itself is still very loose. The volumes has not translated into increased rate pressure.
Is there a reason for this right now, or just can't really explain it?
We think that the market is oversupplied still. It's going to take several months for us to see a real marginal impact to tender rejection rates and therefore rates. And if we slide on into my next chart, this is the national spot rate index that was developed for freight futures. It is a good look at historical because there is a lot of lag in spot rate reporting due to a lot of financial reporting methods and billing processes. So if we look back here historically, right here in these two lines in blue, the mountain blue right here is the current trend. And you can see it's tracking real heavily with the light blue line, which is 2017 rates. What's interesting is that the rates do not want to go below that. You've got 2016 under here, which is historically one of the worst years for spot freight. And up here was last year. So we're well below last year.
Oh yeah, things were good last year.
But right now it looks like we're actually kind of hitting a bottom in rates. They're not going below 2017. So that's a good indication of things moving forward, especially if volumes remain higher and rate pressures remain low. That means eventually we're going to cycle through this.
So if you're a broker and you're watching right now, what should be your game plan?
You need to get as much volume as possible, keep your margins nice and tight, just to play a volume game, especially while we cycle through this sector or wait for retail.
A lot of good information today on FreightWaves Now. Of course, everyone's watching on YouTube, so hit subscribe. We hope to see you tomorrow, and follow us, of course, on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. We hope you have a great Monday.